fruits, nuts, and seeds.
Chapati, thank you for teaching us to be healthy.
The energy that I feel with these meals.
Chapati, that was really yummy.
Like a kid with no toys. Health is my greatest joy. Come and see, come and be with our host Chapati.
Hello and welcome to Food with Life. I am your host Chapati, and we're here at the Conscious Life Expo in Los Angeles, California. We have a very, very special guest here, and this time it's very unusual because he's a unique man in talking about mastering life and shifting in time, and something many of us are not aware of about miracles. So let's talk a little bit about your touch on this subject and your experience in what came out in your very good book, Saved by the Light. It was a near death, or it was a death experience. Tell us a bit about this.
Well, in 1975, I grew up in the Deep South, in the southern tier states of America. And
Yes.
I never ever heard Chapati about anything to do with either went to hell, or you went to heaven, or there was nothing. In 1975, I was struck by lightning while talking on the telephone.
Oh.
And lightning hit me in the side of the head. It went down my spine, and it welded the nails of the heels of my shoes to the floor, threw me out of my shoes. If I had not have been grounded, I would have exploded, suspended me in the air, and slammed me on my back down on the bed. I was dead for 28 minutes, completely paralyzed for 6 days, partially paralyzed for 7 months. I spent 2 years learning to walk and feed myself.
Oh, gee.
And I discovered a world of miracles. I discovered a world that was more genuine than anything that I had ever gone through. I had what is now known as a near-death experience, but it was a death experience. But Chapati, what you have to remember is when this event happened to me, there was no such thing as a near-death experience. Dr. Raymond Moody had not written his landmark book. So I had this experience with no background, no way to deal with it, no way to observe it or look at it, that you lift out of your body and that you become aware of the world around you. And you are safer and more comfortable in that in-between state than you've ever been in any other state of existence.
So, I question you, have to say there was like a world of joy, was it? Or without darkness? Or what was it you experienced?
Awareness.
Awareness.
You become aware that this is basically an illusion, that you're living in a hologram that's created by the collective consciousness of the other spiritual beings that are occupying the human form along with you. You become aware of that where there is no question. And then I moved down a tunnel and I came into this place of bright, brilliant, beautiful light, a celestial, spiritual place. And I could see and sense dimensional reality, not just distance, physical and mental, but more spiritual and dimensional. And I know that this is our home. We don't come from here.
Right.
We don't just exist at the moment of birth.
Right.
We have existed long before we ever chose and were chosen to enter this particular realm. And so I became aware that we are great, powerful, and mighty spiritual beings. And I became aware that we have been around forever and that we'll be around forever. And we choose to come here to make a divine difference. And in the course of it, we also choose lessons that we want to teach ourselves.
So, when you say a divine difference, and I mean, our divine difference is in fact part of the teaching we're learning.
No.
No?
Our divine difference has nothing to do with teachings or what we're learning. The divine difference is to be yourself. What we do is we create obstacles that creates a way that we don't just be ourselves. We live in fear. We live in gratification instead of exaltation and spiritual compassionate focus.
Okay. So what I was implying was that it is through this divine grace, if you would, I use that term, that we learn, or we see this view of lights and dark.
No.
We don't, nothing like this.
All that's hogwash. None of that's true. We
Wait. I mean, certainly there's the dark side.
well, that's called the night.
Called what?
The night.
Okay. Or illusion, no?
Well, yes, the same.
All right. Maya is an Eastern term, you know. I mean, certainly there is that. And then there's the other side of lightness, no? Or brightness, or purity, or joy, or the positive side of living.
I think all sides of life are positive. I think the moment that as long as you're breathing, you are in celebration. It's the value of when you aren't breathing that you come to reckon with the fact of how close you stayed to being your true self. How close did you stay to being the great, powerful, and mighty spiritual being, the part of the divine connectiveness, and expressing compassion, love, and service in this life. That's the only thing that you reckon with.
Yes.
You can hold someone in trouble in the darkness. You can hold someone in trouble in illusion. You can protect and defend something no matter what the issues, if it's an earthquake or a hurricane or the building is being blown up, just like 9/11. You can still protect and care about someone.
Yes.
As well as you can do it in the daylight in love and joy. You know, to help someone with what they're going through when you're in utter ecstasy or utter joy. So when you see the divine place, the things that we in Western conscious call heavens, the heavens, you begin to appreciate the art form of what appears to be polarity, opposites, good and evil, light and dark, day and night, male and female. You see that that's created as a temporal system to function in. It's not really real.
Right. It's part of illusion.
Yeah, illusion necessary.
Right.
So that we sense the moment of when we help someone and they say thank you. And you walk away knowing that that's what you did.
Okay, we're going to talk about that in a minute, all right? Much more to discuss. I'm your host, Chapati, with our wonderful guest, Danion Brinkley. We'll be right back to discuss more about possibly love and more.
And food.
And food, yes. I'm your host, Chapati. Stay with us. This is Food with Life. We'll be right back. Hello and welcome back to Food with Life. I'm your host, Chapati, with our honored guest, Danion Brinkley, a wonderful man of wisdom, charm, and delight to be with. And we're discussing something which he was talking about a bit earlier, the idea of giving and serving. I know you won a major medal, did you say, from the President, some Medal of Honor? What was
The
it?
President's Lifetime Achievement Award for Outstanding Volunteer Service. But it's one of 20 accolades from every organization that deals with end-of-life care.
Hospice care, yes?
Hospice.
Yes.
Once you go through what is a near-death experience, and you realize that we're spiritual beings, and we come to be ourselves and spread love and compassion. And you also come to teach yourself lessons. Once that happens, what you do is you try to figure out a way to be of service. Everyone comes back with looking at how to serve.
Yes.
Since I have no fear of death, I only know that there is life, I decided that what I could do is be at the bedside of people who do not know what I know, and to be there to support them and to be present as they make their transition from this world to the next.
Next side, yes.
Because there I can be understanding, and there I can be present. There I can pay attention to what their needs are, how much hydration they have, what kind of foods they eat, how much prayer or blessing do they put upon the food that they're taking in. And I have no fear, and I don't have to talk about near death, and I watch people sense that I am present in their transition as opposed to being present in my own aspiration.
Very wise. And I can feel, talking with you, the whole sense of giving and serving.
It's real power.
Yes, and well, it's an immense love.
Well, once you feel the love of outside of the physical, and you feel the safety and the magnificence of outside of the physical,
Yes.
what you do is you learn three things. You learn to be compassionate and caring. You learn to be serving, a way to serve, and you learn the art of forgiveness. The ability to be able to forgive people, because the more you hold on to something, the slower your vibration becomes, and the less higher aspirations and perceptions you're capable of perceiving.
Right.
Also, eating the right food.
I think it's important, the food, but I think the whole thing of forgiveness is something, it's a very big word, a very important word. And I know
It's power.
but many, and I know myself included, I need to learn more about the forgiving and understanding and the compassion before I or anyone can move on into the realm of love.
But Chapati, you don't have a choice.
No, I understand.
I mean, it's not about that.
It has to be.
Yeah, you don't need to learn more about it. You need to accept that it is reality.
Right.
And you need to know that in order for you to raise your vibration,
Right.
for you to be able to perceive and with clarity and understanding what goes on around you, forgiveness becomes a power. It's not about being weak and I've got to forgive them.
Right.
Oh God, I feel so bad because they've hurt my feelings.
Yes.
Forget that. The point is this. One day they will become you. In the panoramic life review of the near-death experience, you will see your entire life pass before you. And you will watch your life from a point of view of look at the choices you made. And then you literally become every person that you ever encounter. And you feel the direct results of your interaction between you and them. Without forgiveness, you bear the pain.
Right. Yeah. I think I know from talking with people and myself, pain is has been or is a big issue.
Well, fear is the pain.
All right, fear.
What creates so much pain is people not taking care of themselves, eating properly and hydrating properly, and how you prepare the food, and the basic advancements of what we call Western medicine. Because Western medicine creates the ability to prolong life when life should have already ended in this phase and entered another phase.
Okay, we're going to take a break. I am your host, Chapati. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Food with Life. I am your host, Chapati, with our very honored guest, Mr. Danion Brinkley, a very renowned giver of love and life. And I have a question. You've dealt immensely with veterans and people who have been to war. Tell me about that experience.
The veteran is a unique human because they come to defend their country, or they come to believe a series of beliefs like our Constitution. They've encountered situations that create emotional drama called post-traumatic stress disorder, traumatic brain injury, access to chemicals and biological weapons, access to poor food, what's called an MRI, a poor food, which you tear the top off of it and it cooks itself because there's napalm in it.
Right.
And the amount of fats and the amount of saturated fats that come about in a stressful situation, lack of proper hydration.
Total stress on the body.
Yeah, and then in combat, which means hypervigilance. So I am a former United States Marine, and I know what combat does to a person. And unless you've been that, you don't really know how to deal with the issues that come up under post-traumatic stress disorder. So I decided to take my knowledge and to design a program called the Twilight Brigade. that teaches people how to deal with end-of-life care. Sooner or later, Jabarte, everybody is going to be a hospice volunteer.
Right.
If not only for yourself, but for someone you love or someone who loves you. I created a Twilight Brigade to create a way to reduce the stress on the family member who, quote unquote, dies a little bit every day. The veteran is unique. They need more attention, and they need people to be present and to listen. So as a part of my giving back for being able to dwell in the heavens, and a part of what I learned about from being a tough guy to compassion, being at the bedside of a veteran, listening to them process their information is rewarding, spiritually fulfilling for me. And also I help them reduce their fear and find a certain forgiveness of their transgressions as they see it that came about during war.
Is it indeed a part of imbibing love into their being?
That they are appreciated,
Appreciated.
that someone listens and someone doesn't judge.
And cares, yes?
Yeah, and I care.
Yes.
I understand them. And so I train people to be able to look for the signs and to look at the points of how to deal with it. Because once you learn to deal with a veteran, then when it's your own family, your own husband, your own wife, your own neighbors or your friends, you have a unique, trained, tuned eye and ear to listen for the things that matter and to help conflict resolution come into play.
It's my assumption from reading and speaking to veterans that when they come back, they have a immense backload on their psyche from
You
back.
can't kill women and children and it not somewhere
Right.
play upon.
Yes.
You can't see the inequities of war, not to save anything, but it's business.
Right.
And we send our children off to battle the war on terror, which is utter nonsense. And a person who goes to fight based on the war on terror realizes it's a lie very quickly. And yet they're still being shot at. And yet they're still having IEDs. And yes, they're still picking up the pieces of their best friends and putting them in a bag.
Right.
And then you come home to America, and in America goes to the mall. They go to Kandahar.
Right.
The disconnect between the American society and the combat veteran is worse than it was, or equally as bad as it was during the Vietnam era.
Right.
So somebody has to do something, and I nominated myself. If I have seen the heavens and I have no fear about what's next, then those people who are the most afraid because they did something that was immoral in the name of something that now we realize to be immoral, war, then they need to be supported and helped as they deal with that and help and to begin their journey from this world to the next.
Right, right. I'm your host, Chaparty, with our revered guest, Danion Brinkley. We'll be right back. Stay with us. This is Food with Life. Hello, and welcome back to Food with Life. I am your host, Chaparty, and we're with our revered guest, Mr. Danion Brinkley, a wonderful humanitarian. And we're talking a bit about veterans when they come back and all the trauma they go through and how he helps them with a transition in their life and moving into a being of more love, forgiveness, understanding. The most important thing I feel, and I'm sure you agree, is at least I feel, is love.
Love is the single most important
Right.
aspect that we have as a nature of self-reflection.
Right.
If we don't use a love, and in the English word love, it just has one meaning. Okay, love, and it has so many concepts. I like the Greek. You have three forms of love. You have philia, which is love of friends. You have eros, when two people come together to create family and love. And you have agape, which is the divine love of God, or the great divinity, or the nature that guides us. So I always categorize my friendship. If it's philia, it's like between you and me. We're becoming friends and trying to put information. If it's eros, you'd have to have a sex change operation because I don't go for you boys. But if it's agape, it's what we collectively together to try to bring forth, to put into this show, to why people are thinking of what they're going to eat, that we create food for thought as well as food for preparation.
Right.
And I hope that what I'm doing is, as they're thinking about the food being prepared after they see this show, that this love and this compassion becomes food for thought.
Yes, and that's how the importance and significance of what you're saying is about making food from the heart rather than a duty, rather than it's an obligation.
And people should never not be thankful. People should bless or say grace over the food, and they should set an intention. Once you put the food on that table and you look at it before you, you are to bless it or set in motion in your heart what that food is supposed to do. Let it guide me in wonder and wisdom. Let it be that it is nutritious to my mitochondrial cell walls. Let me hydrate properly. Let it enlighten me.
I feel it's even more, even in a sense, to experience the divine, you know, to give your physiology the ability to experience godliness.
The taste of properly and exquisitely prepared food is definitely godly.
Now, a very important word, which is sometimes overused, and I once saw it on a pin I once had. It said, expect a miracle. The word is miracle. Tell me how you define a miracle and what your view is of miracles and how they come about, and acceptance or not accepting. Tell me what your thoughts are.
Okay, there are two viewpoints. Either everything's a miracle or nothing's a miracle. Either way you approach it, it's still the same. I believe that everything is a miracle. Everything. Then I'm spending my time appreciating the fact that life is a miracle. The people I see, the smiles, the gratitude that we express to each other, and that we care about each other, these are miracles. If nothing's a miracle, then it's going to send you on the hunt to prove there is no such thing. And what happens is you will always lose.
Right.
Because everything's a miracle. So if you say that everything's a miracle or nothing's a miracle, neither one of those two choices are wrong.
Right.
But one thing that you said, Japarte, expect a miracle. That means quantitatively and quantifiably, you have set it as a goal to be a moment in time that you see. Breath not being an autonomic response, that you don't have to think about each breath that you breathe. You do it naturally in an autonomic system. That is the greatest of all miracles. And you do it every breath. So when you want to know if there are miracles, see how long you can hold your breath.
Right.
And see when a miracle is truly the gift of divinity that creates life in amazement. And that I didn't have to think about it. My body naturally and rhythmically did that.
Right.
The ultimate miracle.
Innately.
Just occurs
Right.
autonomically.
Okay, I want you to give me a definition, a one-sentence definition of the word miracle.
You and this television
Everybody.
show.
Everything.
What,
you know?
a miracle, the very second that you realize the divinity within you, that you are a child and a part of the divine grace that flows through this universe, and you're a participant in the making of greatness in this world and other worlds. You may be aware of this world, but you're functioning in other worlds and making that world great. At that moment of realization, you are creating a miracle, or the first bite of exquisitely, nutritiously prepared food. That taste is a miracle.
Yes. Thank you so much.
Thank
very
you,
much.
Japarte.
I am your host, Japarte. We want to thank our wonderful guest, Mr. Danion Brinkley, for giving us some wisdom and light on life. This is food
And
with
dinner.
And dinner. And we'll be having him back at some point with some food.
I look forward to it.
I am your host, Japarte. This is Food with Life. Thank you for watching. We'll see you very soon. Eat well, be happy, smile, enjoy, and remember, life is a miracle. Bye-bye.
Veggies, fruits, nuts, and seeds.